Hello, YouTube. What's up, everybody? The prof is here. It is Wednesday, September 21st. And we're here for another day of discussion, results, comments, criticisms, insight into the world. All right, so we will take a moment here and let everybody kind of filter in. Let me open this up here. All right. Perfect. And sound sounds good. Which is always my concern, as you guys know. People are starting to hit the room. See a couple people already online. What's up? 3 people. What's up, people? Say hi in the chat if you get a moment. And if not, that's fine too. You can just hang out and listen. And we'll try to keep it entertaining and keep it moving along. So it's Wednesday. It's hump day, right? The middle of the week, whatever that means. Is there even such a thing as the middle of the week when you're a reseller, when you're an entrepreneur? I don't think there really is. I think it's just all one big merry-go-round. Just keeps going around and around, right? So yeah, it's Wednesday though, and I do like to reflect on how the week's going on Wednesday, and so far the week's going pretty well. Had a pretty good day yesterday of sales, been getting some listings up. I'm at my top level as of today, kind of past another small milestone, so I'll share that with you guys in a little while. And yeah, it's I'm still digesting this news about Amazon and the long-term storage fees for single SKUs. I was just talking with someone, and you know, there's a lot of running scared out there, I guess, with people who are booksellers or just sell one-offs, and they're afraid now their business model is wrecked on Amazon. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, you know, things like this have a way of causing a ripple effect throughout the whole community and throughout the platform. So if tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Amazon sellers are negatively impacted by this long-term storage fee assessment, well, there's a few different ways you can respond. One, you could just quit selling on the platform, right? You could just move all your stuff to a different platform, take it to your own website, quit selling altogether, pursue something different. That's one solution. And some people will do that. Some percentage of the resellers may react to it that way. Even more resellers will probably just go on and up their prices a little bit. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that as some sellers leave, there will become some scarcity of, especially books, because that's who it's going to affect a lot of. And there's a lot of there's tens of millions of books listings on Amazon. I think a lot of those booksellers are just going to raise their prices. That's what I would do. I mean, you don't have to raise it much. I mean, hang on a second. Karen was texting me. So, yeah, so I think they're going to rate. I think you're going to see prices go up with on Amazon with this new change. I mean, if you're selling a $10 book and now you've got to pay a storage fee of approximately about 8 or 9%, you're just going to raise your price 8 or 9%. That's what I would do. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna maybe sell quite as many, but with some sellers leaving the platform altogether and running scared, maybe you will sell as many. So I don't think it's really going to be as big a change as people think. I thought at first, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go into books now. And then I thought, that doesn't make much sense. I mean, if it's a good market to be in, it's a good market to be in. Are there going to be challenges? Are there going to be extra fees and things you have to navigate? That's the way it is with all business. I mean, I don't know. You just have to decide if it's worth it, if it's worth your time and your effort. So I wouldn't sweat it too much at this point, honestly. I would just kind of look at it as a cost of doing business and price it into your pricing strategy and your business overall. Mark and Oz in the house saying hello. What's up, guys? How are you doing? good, I hope. Hang on a second. So, all right. So what else is going on with you guys out there? Hopefully your day is going well. Your week is going well. I think I said earlier that there's Karin. Hey, Karin. Yeah, I just passed over the 800 listings threshold today. So that's good. Not 800 jeans, but 800 total on eBay, which is nice. I mean, it's a nice little milestone. 900 will be 900's in sight. And then before you know it, it'll be to 1,000. So I'm pretty happy about that. That definitely is, it feels good to hit those milestones. You know, even though they're just really a number, there's no real science to it. 800 is nothing magical, but I don't know. I guess we think in terms of even numbers, right? It's just kind of the way we're programmed. So that was nice to hit. One other thing I found today, you guys may have seen, I put out a video today about how to reprice your eBay listings. And hopefully you'll check that out. I'm going to try to leave a link to that here in the chat room, actually, if I can get that to come up. I kind of like the video. It was really short. It was right at 10 minutes long, basically. But I was pretty happy with how it turned out. The cool thing about it was not so much that I got it done. The cool thing about it was that, let me see if I can get the link here. I don't want it to play, so I might have to mute this for a second. The cool thing about this video was this was the first one I've done solely on the Mac, and I was able to, there's a link to it. I was able to just do the video on the Mac and do a screen capture video, which was pretty cool. I'd heard you could do it on a Mac, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. So today I figured it out. You do it through QuickTime. For any of you who have a Mac out there, there is an option under QuickTime. You can go in and do screen capture videos. You can also just audio. It took me a while to get the audio right. You have to really turn down your Mac volume or you'll get an echo. I guess it's picking up, you know, the sound of it coming back out. But I thought it turned out really well. I mean, I was pretty impressed with it in terms of how the video process, not the content. I mean, the content's good too, but you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, the Mac does a pretty good job with taking video, and it was a quick upload. I didn't have to change the file format, which was nice. I mean, on Windows, I always had to do that. I had to download it. I had to pull it off my phone and then throw it in a movie maker and then change the format and then upload it, and that took forever. This way, I was skip those steps and just go straight to uploading it from my Mac, which was great. Saved me, I mean, it's not like I wouldn't be doing things while, you know, it was uploading, but it saved me probably 20 minutes of time doing it that way at least. So that's kind of a game changer for putting out video now. Whenever I need to do a screen capture video or just even do a video on here with you guys, it'll be so much simpler with the Mac now. So yet another reason to celebrate buying a Mac. I'm becoming a Mac guy. If you're a Windows guy or Windows woman, all right, nothing wrong with that either. But the Mac is pretty slick. I got to give it credit. What else? Yeah, so the video was about how to reprice your listings on eBay. We've talked about that before. So I thought you guys would appreciate maybe just seeing a quick video on how I did it. It's very simple. You do it with the bulk listing, or not bulk listing, you do it with the bulk tool, the bulk edit. And you can go in and change lots of things that way, not just prices. It's great for it. It kind of bogs down if you try to do too many listings at once with it. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, I would probably stick to maybe 50 or less, honestly, at a time, because any more than that, it seems, I mean, it really starts to bog down on how long it takes. And I found it has some glitches. I've had some listings where I've made a bulk edit to them and then it didn't take. Like, for instance, I had a bunch of listings that had $25 free shipping, $24 free shipping, $26 free shipping. And so what I did is I went in and I changed those to padded flat rate shipping and changed the price, but for whatever reason didn't change the price. But it kept the padded flat rate shipping. So now I look like $25 free shipping, but with $6.50 added on for shipping. So it looked even worse. Needless to say, none of those jeans sold. So you got to be careful with it and make sure it's doing what it says it does. But overall, I think it works really well. It's an easy way to reprice since there isn't really a third-party app that's easy to use, in my opinion. With eBay, eBay is just a little different in the way their APIs are set up and so on. I'm not a technical enough guy to understand all that, but I know they don't have kind of the bells and whistles that Amazon does. One other thing that happened yesterday is that I sold a pair of Big Star jeans probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know, maybe it was longer than that. But this Big Star pair of jeans says on the tag, says Big Star XXL. I don't have a lot of experience with Big Star. It's a good brand, and I like to pick it up. I don't find a lot of them. I've probably only found about 4 or 5. And apparently XXL stands for extra, extra long. Makes sense. However, this pair of jeans was not extra, extra long. They were like a 31 inseam, which I put that in the item specifics for the listing. I had a shot of the measuring tape on the inseam showing that was in fact the inseam length. However, the person who bought it got them and sent me a message back and said, hey, I got these and I'm 6 feet tall and they don't fit me. And extra, extra L means they're extra, extra long and Big Star. You should just know that. Well, of course, I offered her a return. I also offered I will pay for the shipping for her to return it back. So she won't be out any money. I'll take a little hit there, but ultimately I'm going to resell them. But just be careful, guys. If it says it on the tag of the item and you don't put it in the listing title, or you don't make it very, very plain that they're not what the tag says they are, you're setting yourself up for a return. And I don't like returns. I mean, of course I'll take them, but I want to get it right. I'm hopefully going to list it right, measure it right, so that the customer buys it and they're happy. That's a win-win for me and a win-win for the customer. Unfortunately, in this case, I did not have enough knowledge about the brand to know that that's exactly what it meant. It makes sense. It could have meant extra, extra large, in my defense, but that doesn't really make much sense for jeans. Anyway, just a little word to the wise there. So just kind of be cognizant of that. All right, so we'll go check out the stats here in just a second. Let me get my system set up here. All right, let's see if I can pull this up. There's yesterday. All right, we'll do screen share. All right, so yesterday was September 20th. You can see I got 11 listed yesterday and sold 7. So a good day of sales. That's really good, actually. Estimated net yesterday of 96.35. So, you kind of see there like 7, 1, 7, 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 13. This is kind of how sales go sometimes, and you can't get too emotional about it. It'll drive you nuts trying to figure it out. So it just averages out to, whatever it's going to average out to. Let me see if I can just switch to this and you guys will still be able to see this. I'm gonna scroll over and see if you can. Let me make sure you're seeing all this appropriately. Oh, yeah, you are. Perfect. So you can see here now I'm doing 3.7 per day, and that's going to keep rising as because it's divided by 30 right now. So that's going to keep rising. It looks like I should beat last month's total. It'll be interesting to see, guys, like what my average listing total is versus last month. because these are the first 2 full months of doing this, like full calendar months. So what we can look at is, all right, so my listings went from 537 to 597. That's about maybe 11%. Speaking of sales, that's about 11% increase. Well, did my sales per day go up by 11%, which would be 0.37? Yeah, it looks like they did. All right, so this month I'm at 688 average versus 597. That's about maybe 15, 16%. Is this month going to go up 16% in units per day? We will see. So that's one good way to think about, is it going to go up kind of in a steady line? Like as your listings go up, your sales go up. I mean, I've got the graphs that shows some of that. And the sold is a little flatter than the listed, which kind of makes sense. The sales are probably always going to lag behind the listings a little bit because you have to have them to get in there for some time, and they get seen and they get tracked eventually by Google and so on and yada 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 yada. So anyway, but as you can see, my listings just keep on climbing. Can't wait to get to that 1,000 mark. Just to nice little accomplishment. Sell through. Still a slight uptick, but not much. Just going to be curious to see how this one goes. And I just don't know if that's going to reach up to that 1 point or not. I mean, right now it's not looking like it's going to, but I'm listing so much, I'm kind of depressing myself through a bit. I'd have to stop for like a month to stop listing, and I'm not going to do that. We really won't know about sell-through until we see, 5,000 listings up. And then, there it is. And, how's the sell-through after we get them all up and just kind of keep them up. That's the only way you're really going to know that. So anyway, so that's where I'm at for the month so far, 2711 in jean sales, net of about 1118. So not bad, holding steady. Actually, the net per jean went up to 1017. I sold a $50 pair yesterday. They were brand new, not your daughter's jeans. So that was nice. And we're just trucking along. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing, come back over. Someone says I'm frozen on their iPad screen. Hopefully I wasn't frozen the whole time. Nope, I'm back. Must just be you, Susanna. Looks like I'm good. Maybe it just froze temporarily. You lost the internet connection. But so one other thing I want to talk about today too, guys, was just mindset. I was having this discussion with another reseller today. And I could get on here every day and talk about my jean sales, and I could tell all you guys and give you all a big sob story about, well, I only sold 4 today because eBay was glitchy and these buyers are just not buying like they used to, and the economy sucks, and there's all these Chinese imports that are coming onto the website, and blah, 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 blah. I could do that. And I guess if you like that sort of thing, that would appeal to you and you would find some sort of weird comfort in that. But here's the question, guys. If I did that, what do you really learn from that? How does that help you? How does that make you a better business person? What will you take from that and utilize in your business to improve your results? I would argue it would take nothing. In fact, I would argue it would hurt your results. That you would start looking for reasons outside of your own efforts why you're not successful. And you know what, guys? Reality is there probably are things outside of your own efforts that hurt or help your results. Guess what you can do about them? By definition, nothing. So I just don't see the reason to get on and do that on YouTube, to get on and just complain and complain and complain. And I know there's resellers who do that, and I don't have anything against them or anything like that. It's just a matter of who are you really helping there? Are you trying to motivate people? Are you using your YouTube channel as some sort of weird therapy for all your frustration and problems that you're having in your business? I mean, I don't know. I guess you can do that. And I guess there's people who want to see that. I'm just not one of them. I would never spend very much time with someone, even if they have great information, if you cannot glean that information from them because they spend so much time whining and complaining about their results, it's not even worth it. If they're telling you so many reasons why it won't work and it's not working, I don't know that you're even going to pay attention when they do occasionally say something that will help you make it work. I don't mean this to come off as a rant, and I'm not really directing it at any one person. I was just thinking about it in general. And guys, I mean, that's just not me. I think there was a time in my life when maybe that was me, but I realized that, life is way too short to focus on just nonsense like that. It's way too short to sit here every day and do something that on some level you fundamentally don't like, or you think is not going to work, or doesn't bring you joy. Why would you do that? I just don't understand why you would continue to put your time and energy into a venture that does not bring you satisfaction. I mean, to me, if what you're doing is causing you to complain and whine and make yourself miserable, that's systemic of something inside you. That's not the business doing that. That's something inside you. You're going to be that way with anything you do. You've got to fix that inside you first before you can find, this validation in what you're doing. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter how much money you make either. You're just going to be, there's plenty of people in the world who are wealthy who are miserable. They're just miserable. They're miserable people for lots of reasons, because money doesn't fill you up inside. It's not going to fill your soul. It's not going to fill your heart. It's just not. Doesn't matter how much or how little of it you have. And when you think, and that's probably the worst feeling in the world. I'm not a wealthy man by any stretch of imagination in terms of money, but I can't imagine how bad it must feel to achieve a point in life where you're wealthy. Like you really don't have to worry about money ever again, and you're still empty inside. You're still hollow. It's like no amount of money will fill it up. And, I just think that's one of those situations where I think people look for that in business and reselling too. They just want to they're looking for something they think is going to fill them up and just make them feel good. And it's just not going to happen, guys. You've kind of got to feel good and take that attitude into your business. You can't expect to pull that from your business. You've got to be at peace with yourself. And man, I've struggled with that for a long time. I'm not sitting here saying I've got it all figured out. Clearly I don't. But I would never continue. I spent way too many years and years. I can even argue a couple decades of doing things and doing jobs and being in ventures that I did not have a passion for it. And it was terrible. It was terrible. And so when you're unhappy and you're not happy with who you are and your place in life, and then you go do something and it doesn't make you happy because you can't be, because inside you're already hollow, it makes it even worse, because now you're like, well, not only am I unhappy, I'm also a failure because what I'm doing is not making me happy either. It's like a double whammy. You thought it was going to do something for you and it didn't. Because it's got to come from within. I know I'm not trying to get all Tony Robbins on you guys here and all the power within or something, but it kind of is true. You got to find it within you and not always be seeking this external validation for your actions. And I think that's what a lot of resellers do. They get in it and they think, oh my gosh, this is hard and this is terrible and I got to do this, I got to do that. And And even if they're being successful in business wise, they still just complain and complain and complain because they're not happy inside. So I don't know. I don't want to continue on that rant, but hopefully you guys hopefully got something out of the jeans update. And I'm excited about 800 jeans. That's great. Is anybody still in the chat? Because I haven't seen anybody post a comment in a while. So I've seen the numbers changing. I see the video going. So I'm hoping somebody's listening. This is still recording. It looks like it is. But if anybody's in the chat, just say hi. Hey, there's somebody. Cool. Just want to be sure you guys were still there. Wasn't sure. It's like, man, like I either hit a nerve or hit a boredom, a vein of boredom. It's hard to say. Could be some of both. All right. What about you guys? Any jeans topics you want to discuss, or just reselling in general? Any questions that you have, you can leave them in the chat. We can answer them here, hopefully. And oh, sorry, it's a really windy day here in Charlotte. I keep hearing all this weird stuff around the house because stuff's blowing around. It's freaking me out. Plus, we had a I don't know if you guys watched the news. We had a tough night here in Charlotte. We had another shooting by the police, and then a subsequent some rioting and so on, and demonstrations, and the whole city is just really, it just feels a little tense today. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. It's not really that close to me where it happened, but I know the area well. Actually, one of my thrift stores I go to is right where the Walmart that got smashed into last night. It's right beside it, actually, literally right beside it. And this is not a political channel, even though I've got a political background. I would just say that these situations there's a lot of complexities to them, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people on all sides, and I don't think there's just two sides. There's a lot of people on all sides who have a vested interest in making sure that nothing gets solved, that nothing gets resolved, that we don't make progress forward in terms of policing, or in terms of race relations, or in terms of understanding one another. Because if those things are resolved, those people who are constantly beating the drum of discontent, they would no longer have anything to do. So there's a thought for you. If you are a person whose primary task is to sound the alarm about a particular problem, what happens if the problem gets resolved and gets fixed? If that happens, you no longer have anything that people are looking to you for. So I think it's always important to remember that. And I'm not really taking a side here. I definitely have my opinions, and I'm not going to go off on that too much. But it's not about any one incident or anyone. But there's a lot of false premises people start with. And until you deconstruct some of those, you can't even begin to have the conversation. And those false premises come from only watching, only listening to part of the story in lots of situations. And that's frustrating. It's frustrating for me as a former academic, because to me, it's like sloppy intellectualism. It's not even intellectualism. It's more just sensationalism passing itself off as news, and people, they believe what they want to believe and discount evidence to the contrary. We were talking about this yesterday with, statistics and confirmation bias. Until you get past that, I don't even know how you resolve some of these issues, because there's, issues like the one that happened here in Charlotte with the police shooting someone, whether they're armed or not, is, man, there's a lot of complexities to it. It's not as simple as saying it's a right or wrong a lot of times. on anybody's part, on anybody's situation. And every situation is different. You can't make a blanket statement and say, well, it's always this or it's always that. It just isn't that way. And I know that sucks because people don't want to hear that. They want a nice, neat, tidy answer and be done with it and wash their hands of it. But that is just not the way it works, unfortunately. So my prayers are with obviously the family of the man who was killed and with the police officer and his family as well. And just for the city in general, because honestly, the events of yesterday with the man being shot to death by the police and with the subsequent actions of others after that, they don't make us stronger. We're supposed to learn something from them, but we don't. It's like Warren Buffett says, what history teaches us is that we don't learn from history. And he's got a point. We just keep having the same stupid reactions to these incidents, the same stupid conversations that don't really move the dialogue forward. And there's no easy, quick answer to it. I would just say that I don't think any issue like this is as simple, and there's nothing simple about it, as looking at the race of the people involved and saying that is the reasons for everything that happened. It's just not that simple. There's some sort of disconnect between citizens, and I'm not talking about just black citizens. There's some sort of disconnect between the citizens of a lot of our communities, every color, forget about the background, and the police and our government officials and so on. There's this disconnect now where the two sides, and it's unfortunate you have to say sides because I think that's what it's devolved into, they don't view each other with much trust. They view each other with a lot of distrust. And when you have that sort of situation, when you have two different groups, whether it's some black citizens or white citizens or Hispanic citizens, and then you have, police officers, and you can even throw probably firemen and women and EMT people and even government officials in general in there. When there's all this distrust, this mistrust between them, you see incidents like this where there's just all this, this tension and violence that erupts when incidents like this happen. And I think that's kind of part of the problem. So we'll see what happens. Hey, Ben, how are you?
What's up?
Hey. So let's see what the comments were. Always interesting. Crafty says, I believe there's one side, other side, and then the truth. Yeah, it's unfortunately, Crafty, I'm not sure everybody's going to agree on which truth you're talking about, or if you even agree what the truth is. But the truth is a slippery subject for a lot of people, unfortunately. And, when you're talking about people's emotions and their perceptions of the world, I think truth goes out the window. I don't think it really matters anymore, because once you have a perception of something, it's based maybe on truth, maybe on fiction, but it doesn't matter. It's now your way of viewing that situation. It's how you're going to act, just like with reselling. If you, like we were talking earlier, if you think that everything in reselling that happens for these big e-commerce platforms is, personally directed at you, you're going to take it very personal, and you're going to get mad when things change, and you're going to think that it's unfair. And in reality, it's just the way it is. Amazon and eBay don't set out to screw you over. They set out to run a business, and the effect of that sometimes is they might screw you over, but that's not the same thing. Intent matters. Mike says he doesn't trust the government and politicians. Yeah, and Mike, here's the interesting thing about that is that, the government and politicians are just people. They're made up of people just like you and me. And yes, you can argue that the systems and the way things are structured there's a corruptive influence on a lot of our politicians and elected officials. I would argue that's true. However, at the end of the day, they're still people, and they have their biases and perceptions as well that they're operating under. And that, unfortunately, comes into conflict with the citizens sometimes. Some of the things I've heard on, just kind of local radio today and just comments, it's like it just reminds me that there's different perceptions of reality we all have. And until you recognize that and seek to maybe find some of this common ground that we all have, I mean, we're all human beings and we're all citizens of this country, and we all have to live here and work here and get along together. As long as you want to look at all the divisions, that's what you're going to see. And if you want to see them, you can see them, you can find them. But I think we have a lot of common ground that we agree on. We just maybe don't agree on if it's always going the way we think it should, and how we should, and what steps we should take to solve it. And that's where the disconnects come in. It's that we think this is a greater problem than this, or we think this is a problem, and then others think, well, it's not a problem at all, or somewhere along the line. And then even if you get agreement on a problem, you start to, then you got to figure out solutions that everyone can live with and are workable and doable. And man, I mean, it's just not a simple set of problems to fix, guys. I mean, it just isn't. Last night was just one more example of that here, but I figured it would come here eventually. I mean, it's a good sized city. It's just a matter of time, right? But it might not be the last. But it's pretty surreal moments to see it happen in your own city and so on. So anyway, all right. So we'll get off the soapbox, I guess, right? All right, guys. Well, listen, 25 people are watching. I'd really appreciate if you would hit the like button if you enjoyed the content today, reselling and political and otherwise. And if you're watching this later, leave me a comment or a question. I will do my best to answer it and get back to you on the in the comment section below. And also hit the like button if you're watching this later. Please, that lets me know that, hey, I'm on the right track, and it lets YouTube know as well. And consider subscribing to Prof Sales so that you can get the next video when it comes out, so you don't have to go searching for it. All right, so that's going to do it for today's broadcast. I really appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out for a while, and we'll do this again real soon. Probably tomorrow, I got a feeling. All right, guys, everyone, take care, be safe, and this is Prof Sales saying good sales to you.